Welcome back to Beards and Brews. Hey, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit that little bell so you know when we have another one brewing. This week's movie is going to be 300, directed by Zack Snyder. Fellas, what'd you think of Sparta Has Fallen?
Is that what we were supposed to watch?
I fucking love this movie. I've liked it since I first saw it. I liked it since I read the graphic novel. They did a good job.
Yeah, I saw this in theaters, and there's a lot of stuff to like about this. There's a few little things that are like, but yeah, this is still holds up pretty well as far as I can tell, and it's just generally visually pleasing, especially if you're a guy that likes abs. Who doesn't like abs?
I'm gonna have to agree. Like, we did Sucker Punch forever ago.
Yep.
And I have this like love-hate thing with Zack Snyder in general. Like, he's super hit or miss. Like, this seems the most genuine movie I've seen for him. Like, you could tell that he not only enjoyed the source material, but like as he was putting this movie together, he's like, listen, this is going to be the most guys being dudes movie ever made.
Lots of guys being dudes in this for sure.
Who wouldn't want to put love and attention into a film that literally opens going, I'll chuck this fucking baby off a cliff if it ain't born with abs.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, the way they treat their kids is like, hey, you're going to be a soldier whether you like it or not. We're going to send you out into the woods, and if you come back, I guess you'll be a Spartan.
Yeah, they don't really treat people as people. You know, It's like, you're a soldier or you're just in the fucking clearance aisle. Just get the fuck out of here. You're worthless.
Oh.
I mean, they're legitimately like one chrome spray paint away from just being like war boys from Mad Max, you know, like I came back and I killed something. They're just like, mediocre, and they just send his ass away.
Witness me!
Spartans, witness me!
Yeah. It has the same energy. But what this movie, actually, you know what? Both this and Mad Max Fury Road are extremely stylized. Like, there's so much computer-generated stuff in this movie, like including entire environment, and it's noticeable, but it's in a way, and it's maybe colored in a way to where it just looks like a matte painting. You know, it almost looks like there's like a live comic book behind him the whole time.
There's a whole lot of that stylized color tinting, I feel like, through the whole thing, like, but especially once you get into like the battles and everything is almost like this blue-gray scale. It's not quite black and white, it's like blue and gray, and the only red that you'll see is like the red of the Spartan cape.
Man, the way that fucking red pops is awesome.
Yeah, it almost works in the same way as Sin City, but like what Brady said, not the grayscale. It just has like this weird but pleasing gold tone to everything.
Yeah, really similar to how they did it in Sucker Punch, but this is just a little bit classier, I think.
Yeah, it's not as miserable to look at either.
There's a lot of good to look at in Sucker Punch, but that's neither here nor there.
It's definitely one of those movies where you feel like you've seen bits of it reaching peak in other films, and then they took that and put it here, and they're like, okay, we figured it out. Here it is.
And like here, it's just a little bit over the top. Not enough over the top to make you like groan, but it like enough over the top to where you're saying, yes, my cup runneth over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exaggerated.
Oh man. Okay, the combat, of course, is exaggerated. That's what we came to see. Just tough dudes just kicking the shit out of stuff. But what I absolutely love, which is I think unique to this movie and a couple others, is just the overacting is so damn entertaining. I just couldn't get enough of Gerard Butler just screaming at people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was my introduction to Gerard Butler. I don't remember seeing him in anything before this. Never knew who he was, so he must have hit the mark.
I think he was in Rock and Rolla before this.
I don't know anything about that, but all right.
It's a weird movie.
I vaguely remember that, because like I get that movie mixed up with Smoking Aces.
Okay. So this movie, the plot is actually pretty simple, isn't it? Like, you've got messengers from the Persian army, which is like an army made up of a bunch of other armies, coming to Sparta to talk to King Leonidas, and is like, hey, won't you just like let us have it? Let's just become a part of us. We'll let you live. You can be like a king, like a sub-king, you know? Doesn't that sound cool?
Dude, they roll up on him with Triple H skulls. Did you see that shit?
So many skulls, just like rolling in, like, you know, oh, this is just decoration. It's nothing. It's just skulls, just a bunch of skulls.
And I love how this movie just shows Leonidas as just a guy who gives fucks, but also gives no fucks. Like, just the way he stands as a fella. He's just like, you can't just like roll up into my fucking crib spouting this shit. You said something about my wife. Listen, I'm just gonna have to teach everybody a lesson immediately.
And this is easily the most well-known, well-remembered part of this movie, as far as I know. The infamous boot kick.
Yeah. The quote-unquote Sparta kick, where
Yeah.
Gerard Butler walks up. The guy's like, yo, dude, you can't just murder me for no reason. I'm just a messenger. And he goes, psh, this is Sparta, bro. Drop kick.
That is the quote. This is Sparta, bro.
There were several times during the screening of this movie the missus tried to inject some logic, which they were reasonable questions. And she was like, how did they get a bottomless pit like that? And I was just totally just within the movie, like, I don't know, they fucking found it. They're just using it now.
It
Why do
was
you
there
think
when they
Sparta's
moved
there?
in.
It was like that when we found it.
But yeah, it tosses the main messenger in there. All the other like sidekick messengers just get comically knocked in. It's a fun time. But we also, if we just sort of brazed over it, our second main character, I guess, Cersei Lannister.
Oh,
I remember seeing like their sex scene later and just, oh buddy, Lena Headey's fucking hot.
Yeah. Then you just associate her with like being a brother fucker, and you can't get that out of your brain.
and you start
I'm
to
Jamie Lannister her.
and you start to think like Leonidas and her name just wasn't because of marriage.
But speaking of Leonidas, I don't think they could have cast anyone better than Butler for him.
Dude, like, even in the parts where, like, his Scottish accent was slipping through, I was still on board. Like, this dude commands the screen every time it's pointed at him, and I loved him for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if I was going to replace Butler with anyone, I don't know who it would be. Like, nobody really gives the gravitas that he does.
This is definitely one of those roles to where you go, okay, anything that came before or anything that comes after will never be as prominent as this role for this man.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, this is the role that everybody associates him with. It's been, like, what, at this point, almost 20 years?
Yeah,
correct.
15 years, I want to say. This was 2006.
Well, hell, good for him. I honestly don't care that he's almost relegated to just, like, AA Hollywood movies, because he's a great actor. He knows how to pick roles. Like, even if the movie's shit around him, he himself is not shit.
I agree with that. Now, his next little bit gets really fun and kind of kooky because we get some like Assassin's Creed style mountain climbing where he can just fucking jump and grab anything, and he gets to the top and there's these hills have eyes psychic motherfuckers up there.
Oh yeah, man, they're all fucking gross.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like inbred priests, but definitely hills have eyes vibes. Like, I don't know what it is. They're like lepers almost or something. I don't know. I feel like their skin's about to fall off and on me or something.
Dude, I just know, like, the game that they were trying to talk, like, their fucking bodies couldn't cash that check. They're just, like, trying to, like, be all hard towards Gerard Butler. He's like, listen, I'll just fucking burn all this shit down.
Well, yeah, he didn't want to touch him.
It's like, ew.
Yeah, I guess they are priests to the old gods, and I guess to go to war, even the king has to get the approval of those old gods to do it. And he goes up there to run it by the Oracle, who is basically just like a teenage girl.
Doped out of her mind, talking about no war during the carnival.
Red flag.
She's just like writhing around, almost naked, basically naked on the floor, doped up on something. I don't know, but I want some.
I don't know. This whole like Gollum look-alike contest, I was just like, this is disgusting. Why are you here?
And then you get the chick all hopped up on goofballs looking good, doing this weird ethereal dance.
And then one of them comes along and just like licks her neck for no reason.
Yeah, legitimately like shudder. I was like, ugh, gross. And even like the camera even goes to Gerard Butler. He's looking just like, is she in slow-mo for you too? Like, what is this?
He got a little whiff of the goofballs.
Yeah, the way she moves is like she's underwater, but she's not. I don't know how they get that motion captured, but it's something. I don't know. It's weird.
She's crunking.
She's on that, what's that good stuff? The purple stuff. Yeah, she's on that lean.
Well, Leonidas, after the whole show, like, he gets some pretty bad news. They're like, listen, man, Sparta's going to fall. Just fucking take your lumps, do whatever. He's just like, no,
can't do that.
That's a bad idea. Hey, I'm going to go murder some stuff. You want to come with me?
Yeah, we're just going for a walk, right?
It's so anti-diplomatic, right? So he's talking to that politician fella. He's like, man, you can't just, I know you're king, but you can't just like take all these people and start roughing house. He's like, war? We're not going to war. We're just going to go fucking to the old Sev. Have a fucking Slurpee.
I've just got 300 bodyguards. That's it. I'm the king. That's what I need, right? 300
The
body.
king
Yeah, they're with
is
me.
entitled to his 300 men personal guard.
Absolutely. But before we get too far from it, there's one scene that I really don't even remember, but we meet this guy that looks like Kamala from 90s WWE, who's got like gold chains wrapped around his face or some way. He's associated with the Persians. I don't really know who he is, but there's this one scene that like it darkens in around him and he looks directly at the camera, and at some point you can only see the whites of his eyes. I don't know why they did it.
I think it's because it's like a comic book panel.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so like when the shadows cast on him, he's like completely just, you just see his eyes and his gold wear.
That checks out. But yeah,
Now-
I guess he was just one of Xerxes' like messenger men in there to talk to the sketchy Spartan. We mentioned him.
Yeah, he's like the next level messenger. Like the first guy, he didn't have a cool chair that slaves like walked around with him. I mean, no, this guy's at like the next thing up. He's like the Cadillac of messengers.
Oh, nice. He said, here's all this gold telling me can't go to war.
Yeah, that's basically like we're trying to create like a little bit of a conspiracy going on. He's talking to, all those dopey priests up there and talking to assorted sketchy Spartans like, hey, if you don't go to war, you guys can maybe make some money. If you do go to war, maybe you die. Your choice.
Well, too bad like Leonidas and his merry men are just all fucking bloodthirsty. They're just ready to get that blood nut because they're just like legitimately just like a Spartan arrow just straight forward through this entire movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
no kidding.
Yeah, dude, 100%. I like the little back and forth between him and Lena Headey. They do a really good job in the short time that you actually get to see these two characters together to establish how strong their bond is.
Yeah.
And as he's leaving, she's like, hey, come back with your shield or on it, bitch.
Yeah. I think she's the real hard one here.
And he knows it. That's why he had that look. Just like,
Yes,
come
ma'am.
back. We're fucked.
Yes, my queen. I'm going to go get slaughtered.
Slaughtered.
Make sure to not fuck any brothers while I'm off.
No promises.
But once they're, out scurrying through the wheat fields, going toward where are they going? The gates of hell. The hot gates. That's it. The hot gates. His idea is evidently to filter all of the Persian army, the hundreds of thousands of Persian army, through this narrow channel and sort of like cut them off there so that, the phalanx of the Spartan army can take care of the trickle through that happens. That's what he proposed to the lepers up on the mountain, and they rejected. But that's what he's going to do anyway, right?
Yeah, and what's great about it is just like, not to take anything away from the Spartan soldiers, they clearly don't know what a phalanx is, but they're just like, I get to kill something today? Absolutely! And they're just, the camaraderie is just so good. Like, even though like we don't get to see a lot of like the ancillary characters, we got like, Leonidas, his like right-hand man, who eventually becomes, I don't know, Solid Snake.
Yeah.
And then there's like that one fellow with the longer hair, and his son's just Keanu Reeves.
Like, I kind of want to talk about his, like, this little scene where he talks about his son. He's like, Leonidas sees him and is like, oh, that's your son. He is too young to have felt a woman's warmth. Okay, first of all, this guy's like 20.
Well, to us, he's 20, but that's like a Spartan 12.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
that dude hasn't even finished his fucking training as a child. He just beat up 6 old men and was like, I'm fucking coming, Dad.
But like, second of all, damn, like, you're really gonna call him out like that? Like, hey, virgin.
I mean, at that point, like, you got like
that
so
blood
much.
nut though.
I
Yes, I was gonna say
guess.
at that point, like, they're also bloodthirsty and blood horny. It's just like they're just there for the kill.
But the dad's response to that is, it's okay, I have others to replace him.
I got taken aback. I was like, so this is an important moment, a bonding experience, if you will. But like, it's okay, I've got extra. You can't just like have that in the same sentence.
Well, that's like their sixth sense of humor. As you see later when he gets decapitated. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
He loses his shit.
He
Fucking
does.
absolutely goes mad. Or as the British would say, mental.
He goes mento.
He's a little fucked in the head, isn't he?
Oh, on that same note, Leonidas, as they're marching, he goes, I'm not sad that I'm going to go die. I'm sad that I have so few to sacrifice.
Yeah, like, dude, dying is the coolest thing. Like, according to Spartans, just like, if you don't die today, you're a puss.
That's what they do. They die.
Limbing off the cliff.
One at a time, wait your turn.
But they're marching effectively to war, and they're not wearing a whole lot. These are like they've got like a loincloth and a cape. I feel like they should have more clothing than that, especially if they're going to be out overnight. Maybe I'm wrong.
Canonically, Spartans fought completely fucking nude.
Yeah. Well, it's like plus 20 defense for every ab they have.
Yeah, it was supposed to be
that-
intimidating to see some dude coming at you with his wang dang just slinging about.
I mean, it would have worked. Just like, yeah, no.
And
I'm outta
they
here.
were all uncut back then, weren't they? So they got like a sand snake coming at them.
It just looks like a bunch of those fucking man, what are those things they pull up out of the beach?
Sandworms?
Gooey duck.
Yes. Just
It's like half gooey duck, half graboid.
oh
Ew.
fuck. Can we honestly discuss this just for a moment? Like, okay, you're on the fucking front lines. You're ready. It's wartime. There's a bunch of fucking naked dudes across the way helicoptering.
Man, like if I were those fucking ninja dudes in those silver masks, I'd be like, all right, this is all wrong.
Like we are completely covered head to toe, and they got abs coming at us. I think they're gonna hit us with their abs.
According to Dungeons and Dragons rules, as long as their dexterity and constitution is high enough and they're in a rage, they would get unarmored defense. So these guys are fucking to the nines on defense.
Maybe they're just trying to pull like the no you card. You know, when they finally attack, you know, like, oh, watch out for their schmeckle or something like that. They're like, no!
Oh man. So the scene where Michael Fassbender jumps and chops off dude's arm, what if he was just like jumped and just gooey duck right to the face?
And it's just slow-mo dragging across.
No, I'm just imagining that's what got fucking Xerxes at the end across the face.
Oh, ripped out one of his little fucking piercings.
Yep.
Yeah, his little staples.
So if you haven't gathered this yet, this movie is kind of homoerotic. There's a lot of half-naked men just being buddies with each other.
That's why I brought up it's just like a bunch of guys being dudes, because it's very like fraternal, like a frat.
It is,
like,
yeah.
They're just like, oh, the Athenians where all the philosophers and the boy lovers are. I'm just like, they did just call like Athens where like the nerds and the gays are.
Yeah, it's
Bunch
fucking
of
Berkeley,
smart-
California.
Oh. Oh shit. So as they're walking, they come across like this burning fucking town, and it's got this wicked scene of this tree of woe with these people just hammer stapled to it.
Yeah. And if I had like any like actual gripe about this movie, it's the fact that they walked into this place and they didn't see it for like 10 fucking minutes. This is the tallest thing for miles at this point. And then like this fucking kid comes over and just to die, and Leonidas is just like, this is the saddest thing I've ever seen. And then one of his spells like, no, look, there's a tray of dead people. And then Leonidas with the kid in hand, he's like, now that is the saddest thing I have ever seen.
I don't know, the way they shot this tree though, when you actually see it, looks pretty cool because it's super backlit. It's almost a silhouette, and when you focus in on it, that's only when you get to see like, this is bodies, this is corpses.
Yeah, they should have chopped the tree down to essentially let the bodies hit the floor.
Oh. But did we talk about when they're actually crossing paths with the Athenians, and they're talking like, hey, I thought, Spartans, you guys are warriors. I thought you would have brought a bigger army. We've got like 1,000 guys. Spartans are only bringing 300. And I like that he's like, hey, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a carpenter. Hey, what do you do? I'm a sculptor. Hey, Spartans, what are you guys? And they're just like, fucking warriors, duh.
Yeah. Like Gerard is coming over to be an alpha. He's like, we've got warriors. Look at you. You've got Jeffrey doesn't me taxes.
Oh shit. Yeah, this is like a really good scene just because of the fucking arrogance and forced respect that he commands.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're carpenters, you're fucking McDonald's fast food workers. He's like, Spartans, what is your fucking profession? And they just, ow. And he just looks at him and they go, yeah, all right, man.
All right. You got us there.
Y'all tough.
And shortly after that, that's where we meet Mr. Humpback guy for the first time, right? Mr. Quasimodo.
Oh, yeah. And I guess he's like he's an ex-Spartan, or his father was a Spartan. Maybe he was a chill guy, but he's all fucked up. He's like, my father was a Spartan, and I'm just a little, not 100%. Please let me fight Leonidas.
Yeah, I guess like he got cast out because he's, I don't know, broken. He's just like a twisted former. I don't know how to say what I'm saying. He's not right. Physically, he's
That's
like
all right.
he's like an actual Gollum, not Gollum from Lord of the Rings, but he's like an actual like just like twisted, mangled Gollum combined with like that one character in Scary Movie 2, you know, Chris Elliott.
Yeah.
A strong arm.
I think the real reason why he didn't let him in is just because he'd just be a distraction for the boys.
For sure, yeah.
She's like, bro, you see these fucking fine abs? Where's your abs? He's like, let me flex for you, Leonidas. My mother's mom gave me abs. And he flexes, and he doesn't have no abs. And Leonidas goes, the strength of the phalanx is in the abs.
He's got 3 abs. He's got 3 abs. It's all right.
I kind of picture like him maybe having one, but it operated in the same fashion as like one of those stress dolls with the ear things.
No, that's totally just tumors.
No, it's one of those old games like that came out in the 90s. It's like, you know, when you press one button, then all the buttons around it light up. So like you press one ab and then he's got 3 abs, but you press one of those 3 and he's back to having 2 abs. So you can only light up so many at once, you know?
Note to self, Leonidas hates puzzles.
Now, they go into the hot gates and they start building up this little fucking wall thing because there's a perimeter and shit. They gotta block that off. This is a really fucking cool scene because we get this Cheech fucking Marin looking motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
On him, and he goes, hey Leonidas, give up. We're fucking tough. And he goes, nah, bro, you're not tough. We turned your guys into the Great Wall of China. And he goes to whip him. Michael Fassbender leaps through the air like 30 feet, chopping off his arm.
Yeah.
Now, there is one thing that I want to say that I absolutely love about this. It's the way that he has the inflection in his voice when he makes his threat. He goes, hey man, 1,000 armies descend upon you. But he's like, our arrows will blot out the sun. And fucking Michael Fassbender just comes back immediately and goes, we'll fight in the shade.
And that line comes back. I like it. A little bit later, you got a couple of the guys having a little chuckle over it. It's another bonding moment.
Yeah, just another dude moment. He's like, hey, remember when I said the shade joke? He's like, oh,
yeah, that was a good one. What am I?
You just had to say something fucking stupid, didn't you, bud? And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. My dad's dead, but it's cool.
No, I just love how nonchalant they are in the face of just this brutal nonsense ahead of them.
Oh, yeah, dude, because from this point on, literally, probably, 20 minutes into the movie? 30 minutes? It's an almost 2-hour film. The rest is all just fucking nonstop fighting.
Yeah, like, there'll be, like, a battle, and then it's like, all right, let's clear off the bodies from the war field. Start again. Prepare, you know?
I actually really liked seeing that because, like, in most movies, like, almost like video games, there's all these kills and the bodies are just gone in the next scene. Like, there's nothing in between. But no, they got, like, the snow shovels and they're just, like, plowing all these people off the field.
Yeah, that's actually what Leonidas tells little Quasimodo to do. Like, hey, you can't fight for us, but if you'd like to help, clear off the bodies from the battlefield and bring the soldiers some water. And he's just like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm better than that.
Well, I mean, he's crippled. He's not dumb because he knew they were going to make him clean all of them by himself.
Yeah, he did.
He's just the body guy.
So this little motherfucker, he goes running to Xerxes for sanctuary. Sanctuary.
Is that what it is? I don't know, because I think he's just out there trying to make a buck or getting them titties or something. I don't know.
No, absolutely the latter. Yeah, because he walks in and he just sees all these naked chicks around dancing. When he's trying to talk to Xerxes, he's just like, he can't even contain himself. He just starts like drooling. Just give me some of that, please.
Whatever I have to do to have this, I will do it, sir.
Yep. You can even put one of those stupid fucking wizard caps on me. I'll still do it.
Oh my God, yes.
It was like I was secondhand embarrassed when he walks out of the ranks with that stupid fucking cone head thing.
He looks like fucking Mickey Mouse in Fantasia or something.
Yeah, fucking 10 minutes before he walked on the battlefield, he was just sitting in his tent pondering his orb.
Now that you said that, like, I can just see him in his tent with a mirror, and he just like puts the hat gently on. He's like, yeah, that's it.
Oh, he's just fucking deformedly rubbing one out to the wizard hat on his head.
Ew.
Oh.
Just violent.
All fucking sideways.
Okay. Now, these fight scenes, they just keep going and going and going, but we could cover every little detail of them because, man, number one, they're choreographed to the fucking 9. It's amazing. It's so fucking stylized that the whole time you watch it,
even though it's like the most gruesome shit you ever seen, arms getting chopped off, faces being slashed open, you're just smiling going, this is fucking cool.
Yeah, because you're rooting for the home team. Like, no matter how brutal it gets, seeing the Spartans take care of business is just satisfying. Like, yeah, this is exactly what should happen.
Yeah, and there are like little breaks to where it's like, all right, this is when, the horsemen come in. And then the next one is like, hey, this is when the Chinese come in with their gunpowder magic. And you've got like little breaks that separate all of these little types of armies. The immortals come in. It's really fun.
It had me giggling when they showed up because like Leonidas was like, shit, snapdragons, and like fucking jumped out of the way all crazy.
Oh no, he got whistling bungholes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the Husker do's and the Husker don'ts.
Oh fuck. Something else that punctuates each fight scene are Leonidas's fucking badass quotes like, "This is where we fight. This is where they die." And then they just fucking murder everybody.
And then everybody else in the group is like, I'm glad he tells me where this is. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know.
Yeah. What are we doing next, Leonidas? We will give them nothing, but take from them everything.
And there's like one guy copying notes. Fuck.
That's a good goddamn plan.
Yeah. Yeah, meanwhile, back home, Cersei is having to deal with this sketchy Spartan is what I've been calling him.
Yeah, and like the entire time, he's clearly batting for the other team. He's like, listen, we could just be dual citizens. It's not even a thing, love.
And speaking of dual citizens, thank you for that. I've got dual citizen here from Three Weavers. I don't know why they named it that. This is a hazy double IPA. 7.2% alcohol by volume, and Three Weavers is out of Inglewood, California. Inglewood, always up to no good. Let's see what we have here. Definitely fruity on the nose. Lots of that mango, lemon, orange, grapefruit notes. Everything that you would expect out of something New England style. Not super thick like milkshake levels, but this has got a good haze on it. The flavor on this is pretty well balanced, not super heavy with like the fruity tropical, mango notes. There is a little bit of like hoppy backbone there to keep it standing straight up, but also there's a little bit of a metallic flavor in there, especially in the finish, a little bit of like copper. I don't know what that would be from, maybe the malt. Maybe it's just from the can. It comes in an aluminum can, but it's pretty good. It's not anything spectacular. It's completely what you're expecting it to be. 7.2 hazy double IPA. It's pretty good.
Hell yeah. You know what else is pretty good? The fact that like Leonidas' wife is having all this political trouble back at home, and the only person that could give her any solace is Abraham Lincoln.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, old Honest Abe, he's sitting there going, "Oh, don't worry about it, Lena Headey. We'll get you an audience in 2 days. It'll be
By
cool.
name.
High five."
Yeah.
Duo citizen guy, he just comes strolling and he's like, "Hey, I found your kid. Want me to swing by your house later? We can work out a deal. I'll get you fucking political sway, and all you got to give me is 10 minutes inside of you."
A little bit of that booty.
And I guess politically, pretty solid move, right? Something for something, little quid pro quo. But like, this guy is
Greek.
Man, no, dude. Like, this guy is up her Greek because like he like leans in. He's like, "Not gonna like this at all. It's gonna be real fucking bad, love." I'm like, I get that the guy's already a piece of shit, but like, he's like extra level piece of shit. Like, he's basically a rapist.
Yeah, for real. He is like, hey, I'm gonna be bad in the sack on purpose.
That's just like, so he doesn't even have to come up with excuses. It's like out the gate, this is gonna be real fucking awful.
He makes it a point to say it will not be over quickly. He's like gonna take
he?
his time. He's gonna like take a sponge and rub it around in there and get all the wet out and just go in bone dry over and over.
Gonna see how clean you are.
I was just picturing like this really quiet Greco-Roman night, and there's just like this faint 2 Tickets to Paradise playing in the distance. Like, what's happening up on Capitol Hill tonight?
Oh my god, and it's got that scene of like the blue hue moon in the background.
It's just extra just uncomfortable.
Now, you mentioned Capitol Hill. You mentioned Capitol Hill, and the only song going through my brain is the one from Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh, I'm just a bill.
Yep, that's it.
While he's behind her, putting his fucking hands on her shoulders, fucking Xerxes shows up for old Leonidas. And this dude looks like a 7 foot tall tan, buff Madonna.
Yeah, he's something along those lines. Like if you took Cher, made her fucking 7.5 feet tall, gave her all the abs in the world, and decided that she was gonna be a man, I guess. That's what you have.
I don't think Imhotep deserves this kind of rose because it's just clearly that dude from the Mummy.
Oh,
There's something about this guy. He gives me like, ugh.
I would definitely
Anybody
go
else?
with the Cher thing. I like the Cher one just because then I can picture him like rubbing Leonidas's back, going, "Leonidas, you believe in life after love?"
But in the face, you can't tell me the guy doesn't look like Cher.
There's definitely something there because like the movie trying to put him as imposing. They even have that like voice changer on his stuff, so like his voice is deeper than it should be.
Yeah.
But like but looking at him, I'm just like, yeah, he's got nothing. He's just
Like,
tall.
He's real tall. He's kind of built. Like he's muscular like a lot of other guys are. He's got like sort of this Dal Sim kind of thing going on from Street
Ooh.
Fighter.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's what I'm getting from him.
But Leonidas has a comeback, which is fucking really good. He goes,
Yeah, it
"Listen,
is.
Leonidas, you can be a fucking warlord of all of this. Just you'll be my number one dude." And he goes, "Man, that's cool." He's like, "Well, what do I gotta do?" He's like, "Well, you kind of just gotta like kneel down." And he goes, "Oh, well, killing all your boys made my fucking legs cramp up, so that's gonna be a problem."
It's such a fucking great line because like every other like really loud order or whatever, it's just like very classical almost. You know, like he's a warrior, he's screaming, he's like, "Oh, this is whatever." This is a very human moment. He's like, "Listen, fucking leg aching up a pain." You know what I'm saying? As this kid, it's not happening.
Honestly, that's not even the line that I thought you were going for. What I thought you were going for was when he's talking about how, my hundreds of armies, they're not even afraid of my men. They're afraid of my divine power. And then just a minute later, Leonidas is like, "Well, King, you are as generous as you are divine. Thank you for this offer." Meaning, like, I know you're not fucking divine, and get your generosity out of here. We're going to fucking slay you.
Because he knew like his armies were afraid of all their schmeckles hanging out, just helicoptering away.
Yeah.
You just hear him coming, you just have that hum in the distance, just
Oh no, it's a Spartan helicopter charge.
it's just like Fortunate Son from the other angle.
Oh man.
Yes.
Some Spartans are born made to helicopter in the dick. Ooh, that red robe and pubes.
I mean, given what I've seen with their chest, I imagine that they're just like waxed all the way down.
Oh man, that was way better. Because I was thinking just red.
That's as far as you got.
Oh fuck. Now Xerxes gets all pissed and starts sending all of his main boys at him, and there's all kinds of more cool combat that happens, and you get the immortals, we get some fucking rhinos, we get some important deaths on the 300 side. But did you guys catch, especially you, Chan Man, because I asked you to look for him, the wrestler?
I didn't. Who was it?
Okay, I'm excited to tell you now. So in this scene, when the immortals are attacking, they start to get beat up by the 300. And they're like, "Oh shit, unleash that big mutant motherfucker."
Oh, the guy that looks like Sloth from the Goonies, but as a vampire from Buffy the Vampire Slayer? That guy?
That's Kurgan.
Kurgan.
Oh my god.
Yeah, okay.
Well, seeing him as an actual person, I'm just like, okay, that's a dude. Like the way they have him dressed up in the thing, just like he looked like a fucking dick from behind. Like I don't even know what the art direction was for that one.
His fucking traps connect from the literal tips of his shoulders where his deltoids are to the bottom of his jaw. This man is just one big weird muscle.
Yeah, it's like he accidentally swallowed a Dorito and just got stuck.
That sounds about right. But he, like, one thing that I think is really cool, just a shot that does not matter, but he has like a battle axe that he's just like swinging around, and he swings it toward, I think it's Leonidas. And he's wearing his big, Trojan, not Trojan, but his Spartan helmet that's got the little, I don't know.
Floor broom.
It's like a little helmet mohawk on top, and it just slices through that floor broom mohawk. Doesn't mean a thing to the plot of the movie, but it's just a really cool shot the way it's done.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely. He doesn't even turn around either. He's just like, I know it's coming. I can smell it.
No, his buddy saves him from that. He tries to fight the big monster guy, and he swings that sword down, and it cuts down his helmet through the bronze onto his eyeball, and then back down the helmet again to give him like that badass Sub-Zero scar.
Yeah, he
Nice.
gets that sweet scar that you see in all those meme pictures.
Yeah. And then after this, like, this is still the same battle. He's like, all right, we've got these Arcadians that have just been standing around. Why don't we get them out there on the battlefield? I guess give my guys a breather. So just go on out there, dudes.
Yeah,
And
just have some fun. Just get out there, wear yourselves out.
the narrator says, brave amateurs. They do their part. And they just immediately get killed.
I was like, what did you expect from like what's left of Judas Priest?
No.
Like, I think a few of them survived, but I think they mostly got wiped out.
Poor
It's
Robin
the
the
Kiss
Halfords.
Army.
The Kiss Army. But you mentioned rhinos. There's a rhino coming up, which is comically large. Where did they get this rhino?
I don't know.
I'm starting to think this movie isn't entirely historically accurate.
I mean, testament to whatever storytelling you can put behind like just the masculinity of the Spartans in this movie, but like this thing is incredibly imposing, and he basically just like licks his thumb, puts it in the air, shoots an arrow, and it's out.
Yeah, and like you get this like extreme close up right behind the soldier, and he's just standing there as stoic as fucking possible. This rhino comes diving down dead like right at his feet. Like he knows exactly where it's gonna come down.
And
No
yeah.
fear.
Fucking
He's-
baller.
And he celebrates with a helicopter.
Yeah.
But while he's helicoptering, one of these fucking Persians roll up and decapitate him.
Yeah.
Was that Keanu who took it down?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty intense moment because like this character Keanu, for lack of a better term, through the entire thing he's like, oh, this is my boy, I love fighting with my boy. I'm like, that dude's fucking dead. Like there's no way around this.
For sure, yeah.
But like, of course he gets decapitated as we mentioned, but like his father, the way he reacts to it is so primal, and I just couldn't help but fucking feel bad. Like he runs over after the battle's done, of course, and he just like tugs on his dead boy's body, and he fucking falls apart. And it just, there's something just deep down inside him like, fuck, all right.
Well, he's pretty much the cause of it too. Like once the battle's over, he's like, "Hey, my boy," gives him like a good job, like a thumbs up, that kind of thing. And that distracts him just enough for this guy to come on like, is he on horseback or something? And just like
Correct.
fucking cuts his head off.
It's a hell of a thing to see, and it really pays off a little bit later in the film whenever the father bites it with the rest of 300, because he's so enraged that even whenever he's fucking dying, they stick a spear through him, and he's like, fucking harder, bitch, let's go, and pulls a spear into him so he can kill 2 or 3 more guys.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I was going to bring up. I love the character change, because he goes from just like, he's a hardened Spartan, he can kick some ass, to like, I'm going to go find Xerxes, peel his face off and wipe my ass with it. He's just like,
Yes.
He just goes full blown, just like psychotic.
Meanwhile, the direct juxtaposition from that scene, the very next scene is, Hunchback back at Xerxes' place, which we've already talked about him, sort of trading sides. But what we see in his little caravan is just ridiculous. We've got this black goat, a goat, that is playing a flute somehow. I don't remember Black Phillip being able to play a flute in any of the movies that I've seen. But in the middle of all that, you've got basically an orgy taking place. Not quite an orgy, but there's some titty sucking going on.
Yeah. But you're not like really into it because you're like, man, all these people are just dirtbags.
I don't know. It looks like a fun time. That's all I'm saying. Maybe Leonidas should consider it.
Man,
well,
now I know exactly who's going to turn us in.
Sorry, guys. I mean, it looks like a good time.
Turns out Chandler's an anagram for Judas. Oh my God.
I knew it all along.
As previously mentioned, no, I'm just a heathen.
Now, this little bit coming up is really cool because he immediately betrays them, and the Arcadians find out first. And they're like, hey, Leonidas, we're done. Like, we're about to get fucking slaughtered. And he goes, well, then run away, pussies. The rest of y'all, eat good, for tonight we dine in hell. And you go, all right, man, shit.
I guess I'm in, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're on board. Except that one guy's like, but we had hell last night.
Yeah, I guess the whole reason the Hunchback guy came to Leonidas in the first place was to talk to him about this road. It's a secret road that leads to like the back end of the gates of hell or something. Well, it turns out he told Xerxes about that. Now they're coming in through that road as well. So the Spartans are pretty much fucked, like proper fucked.
Yeah, and you can actually see it on Gerard Butler's face. Like when he gets that information, he's just like, All right. Guess we're dying. Who's with me?
All of us except for you, Solid Snake. You go back and tell my wife that we're fucking victorious, okay? You need to go spread the Spartan propaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, tell him and bring this little. What is that? Is that like a lock of his hair? Is that a braid?
It's his
What is
foreskin.
it? Is that what that is? All right.
It's so big he wore it around his neck, so he just gave it to him.
It got snipped off by one of those fucking immortal guys.
Oh, it's like a gator. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
No,
I thought it was like a braid from his hair.
it's like
I
a
think
tooth
it's a
on a thing.
it's
Or
a
something?
it's a something. I think it's the wolf thing.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
that's perfect sense.
All right.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that happened because his wife gave that to him as a gift, to come back, and she just gets it back.
Mhm.
It's almost just like, this was stupid, and he just
Yeah.
he just gets it back.
Well, I think it's because he knew his body wasn't coming back.
Yeah, this is weighing me down.
Oh, that's the one that like throws him off kilter.
Huh.
Not that he just really hates arts and crafts.
Yeah, but Cersei is. I keep calling her Cersei. She's just Cersei. It's fine.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Sparta,
Yeah, back there, Cersei is back there trying to convince the council or whatever to send the whole army. Just like send everybody. We've got a real battle going on. My husband's out there with 300 friends. They're having a good time, but they need backup.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And like this was like the worst part of the movie for me because I know like this may be based on some kind of like historical accuracies somewhere. I don't know. But the
Somewhere.
the politics just like make no fucking sense. Like this is clearly escalated to like DEFCON 1 or whatever they called it back then. And everybody's just like, I don't know, maybe we should get plum pudding or something. Like it just entirely escapes everybody. Like this needs support now. And
Can
this
we
one
put
guy
it off until after Carnival?
Yeah, he's like, we can't have war without pudding.
How can you have any pudding if you haven't eaten your Persians? Do they do that? Is Army Hammer in this?
Oh no. I was like, please send your army. They get Army Hammer.
actual
Oh.
cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
He's standing right behind you, Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf, get at us.
Do it.
Do
Just
it.
do it.
But yeah, you've got Sketchy Spartan in there, like calling her out, like, "Hey, didn't you just offer me that little pussy for some support? Didn't that just happen? Didn't you do the same thing with Abe Lincoln over there?" Abe Lincoln just sits back, like, "I didn't hit it, but I'd like for these people to think that I did."
Yeah, absolutely.
His insult for her, every time I hear it, I fucking laugh. He goes, "Look at you with your inglorious and shabby self."
Oh, I like when he calls her a whore queen. That's a title I would wear with pride.
Like the dude had some like fucking venom in whatever he was spitting, and she's like, "Listen, is anybody else like see this traitor clearly in front of us?" He like looks around, and all these old farts are just like, "Oh, Socrates, I don't know." And she's like, "All right, whatever. I'm just gonna fucking deal with this." Kastab. All right, he was a traitor. Like I'm sorry that I had to spell it out like that in blood, but hey, here we are.
She fucking stabs him with a sword, and all of his fucking Xerxes gold just falls out all over the place.
Dude, that's what he fucking got killed like Sonic. His rings went everywhere.
Oh, they did.
And now it's the final showdown, and betrayal has happened. The Spartans have gathered in a small little turtle shell shape with Leonidas standing out front. His helmet all now battered and beaten, and he's standing there kind of worn down. And Xerxes, along with the rest of his immortals and fucking hundreds of archers, have all walked up on him, and they're like, "Hey man, you've shown us that you're strong. Now fucking kneel down and be my boy." And Leonidas starts giving this speech where the helmet is stifling, and he takes it off, and the shield is heavy, the spear, and he's far, and all this shit, and he's throwing all this stuff down.
It's so good.
And
Yeah.
it just builds to this moment where he fucking yells for Michael Fassbender to come out and kill this dude in front of him, and then Leonidas grabs the spear and he fucking throws it, and it's so far away, and these arrows are just flying into them, killing fucking everybody, and the spear is just traveling at the same time, and it crosses right across the fucking right cheek of Xerxes' face, ripping out some of his earrings and cutting him. And it was the whole point in this speech that he gave earlier is, I just want to show these people a god can bleed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like, show this motherfucker is mortal.
It's probably the greatest instance of like, you've activated my trap card that I've seen in a long time. Because this is extremely satisfying. Like, we all know what happens. Like, they don't make it. But the fact that they used every single second of breath they had in them to give it all that they had before they fucking passed out and died is just fucking entertaining.
Yeah, of course, there's another volley of arrows that come down, killing them. You know, this is the last battle, the last stand for everyone. All of the soldiers around him are dying, but it's a victory because you showed that this Xerxes, this god king, is actually mortal. And you can see Xerxes' face as, like, he's trying to hide it, like he's not bleeding. But everybody now knows, like, the emperor is, what's that story? The Emperor's New Clothes? New Groove? Yeah. The Emperor is naked. Everything is now seen. You can't undo that. And that's how we wrap up this story. We have old Solid Snake back there, Faramir, telling the story. He's the narrator through all this, by the way, telling everything about the victory of the Spartans. And in the end, I guess it was a victory because that little bit got like 100,000 Greeks to fight against him or something.
Yeah, and like they're all lined up, and you can see him for miles and miles. Mm-hmm. And then like the guy behind him is like, "Mr. Snake, tell us about the nano machines." Man, at the end of everything, I hadn't seen this probably for a while, maybe since I was like 15, and I feel like that's probably what this movie is geared towards, like that kind of demographic. But in the library of Zack Snyder movies, this is probably my favorite. Like, this is the most consistent all the way through. It's a hell of a lot of fun. It's so focused and just a wild ride. Like, we all know it doesn't have a happy ending, but that is entirely not the point. This is totally the journey of the Spartans being so fucking hardcore. They were legitimately this close from just leveling an entire Persian army. And it's just fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, it's a good story, first of all. It's very visually compelling. We didn't talk enough about it, but like the visuals of this movie are absolutely striking. Lots of contrast, lots of that grayscale with the blue lighting and like just flecks of red here and there. Very visually striking. And the acting, really good. A lot of it is very cartoony, but that's what it's supposed to be. This is built on a graphic novel, and it comes off as such. 5 stars. I don't know. That's all I got for you.
Dude, I love me a good version of a homoerotic gladiator. I'll be the first one to admit, I tear up every time when he gets killed at the end and he's standing there with these fucking arrows in him and he's like, my life, my love, my queen. And then they fucking light him up again and he goes down. And it's one of the few movies where you actually see the hero dead on the fucking ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. That was 300. Do you have any strong feelings about the movie or the show? Hey, leave in that comment section below.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to hit the little bell icon down there too, so you don't miss anything that we got brewing up next.
Get out there and follow us on social media. We got all sorts of it. We have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, of course. You can find us through the Anchor app on Apple Podcast, Spotify. We're on all sorts of shit on there. So if you got a platform, search for us. If you don't, our arrows will blot out the sun.
Damn.